I'm going to break down the exact step-by-step system that's helped my students go from having zero personal brand to hitting their first 10K months as effectively as possible. And all you have to do is just pay attention to this video from start to finish, then implement what I'm about to show you. And I'm not just talking about some get-rich-quick scheme or new money-making method nonsense. I'm talking about using the skills you already have and the knowledge that's sitting in your head right now and turning it into a real business. You see, most people think you need millions of followers or years of experience to make money with a personal brand, but that's completely backwards. All you really have to do is identify a skill you're good at and a skill that people are willing to pay for, craft a compelling offer, and then promote it through your content, aka your personal brand. And here's the best part. Even with just 3 high-paying clients, you can easily get to $10,000 per month. If you just manage to convert 1 to 2% of your audience into clients, you'll start to realize that you can have a successful personal brand with just a few hundred followers. And it's really not that hard to achieve if you ask me. Now, this exact blueprint is what I personally use to have generated over $373,000 in the last 18 months with my personal brand. So I can guarantee that this system absolutely works from my personal experience. And with that said, let's not waste any more time and just jump straight into it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the 10K realization and going over why most people fail when it comes to making money with their personal brand. And the first problem they're going to run into is going to be the follower trap. So you might automatically think views and followers equal sales, but that's just not the case because there's going to be a lot of broke creators that have a lot of attention, but they're just not making any money. So views does not equal sales. Followers also does not equal sales. Clients are the thing that actually equals sales. And to really hammer in the point, let me talk about one of my clients, Brandon. So Brandon essentially had this YouTube channel called Be Inspired Studios, which he started before he started working with me. Now he posted all this content, helping people, use CapCut and edit their videos, but it really wasn't making too much money. And it kind of wasn't really going anywhere. So when he started working with me, I came to the realization that he was chasing the views, the subscribers, and he was getting them, but it wasn't making any money. So all we had to do was make a couple tweaks to what he was doing. So instead of trying to chase the views and the followers and the likes, why not provide a service to a specific niche where he can be the expert in? And we figured out that he loves content creation and he's been in the construction industry for the last 15 years. So why not put those things together? So what he's done now is pivoted his content towards content creation for construction companies to generate leads. And literally within 2 weeks of working with me, we put that offer together. He sold it to another construction company and he charged his first $3,000 per month. The next week after, he charged $4,000 a month, and then he just kept going and he actually reached close to $10,000 in the first month of working with me. And he's been doing this YouTube thing for like more than a year, right? Without making any money. So the power of this is that you don't need a lot of views. You just need to offer something valuable and put yourself out there, and the right people will find it because the algorithms are so good nowadays. And then you start selling your services, right? So don't chase the follows, go for the clients. And the beautiful thing of this all is that Brandon actually had that business idea inside of him this whole time, but he just needed someone like me giving that third eye, that different perspective to bring it out of him and show the world how valuable he can actually be. Now, another common challenge a lot of people have when starting out is the I'm not qualified lie, meaning they psych themselves out and they feel like, I don't have that much years of experience. There's so many people better than me. Why would anyone watch me or pay for my services? But here's the truth. You don't need to be the #1 expert in your field to be qualified to teach, right? As long as you're one step ahead of another person, meaning if you're just better than them, you can teach them and they can pay you for your advice and your skill sets. It's exactly how I started teaching sales online. Back when I started my YouTube channel, if you go all the way back, my first video was how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, right? Then I just started making a bunch of sales content. Was I the most expert, seasoned salesperson on the planet? No, there are people who have like 10 plus years of experience, been doing sales coaching all around the world, right? I literally had less than 2 years of actual sales experience and I started creating content online. Although I wasn't the most experienced, I was more experienced than the people I was helping, which were typically people who were just starting their sales career. And because of that, I grew my audience to hundreds of thousands of subscribers off those 2 years of experience. So as long as you're better than another person, you can provide genuine advice, it's fine. Now let me give you another trap, and that's going to be the information trap. So a lot of people out there, they'll watch videos like this and other videos as well, and they get into this consumer mode. They just watch, but they never do. And the truth is, consumers do not make money. People that do, the doers, they're the ones that are executing. They're the ones that are actually making money, right? So there's a big difference between learning and earning. Learning, yes, there's a place. Learn the strategies and the tactics, but if you don't apply it, there's no point. It's like it's the person who has their third master's and they're still going to school, not doing anything, right? That's pretty much the equivalent. So whatever it is that you learn, especially in this video, as I give you all this advice that I'm about to drop on you, I want you to actually do something with it. Don't just think, oh, like that's a nice video, maybe I'll do it next month. Actually take the notes and get to work, right? And here's the thing. I talk to so many people that want to build a personal brand and create content, but they're like, I want to make it perfect. But being a perfectionist actually just means you're insecure about failing. You don't want to put out a video because you're afraid that people are going to say it sucks, nobody's going to watch it, you're going to feel embarrassed, and you're going to see Patrick, like nobody likes my stuff. But the truth is, you're just afraid. And that's okay. It's okay to be afraid, because once you start taking the risk and you start putting yourself out there, you will be in situations where other people are going to hate on you. They're going to say negative things about you. They're going to say you can't make it. And all you have to do is prove them wrong. And understand, to beat perfectionism, just think of it like a project. You don't have to make the perfect YouTube video. You don't have to build the perfect business. You're figuring it out as you go. As long as you put it out there, you take that first step. So now that we dispelled some of the common pitfalls people have that prevent themselves from building a personal brand, let's talk about the skill to cash formula. If you want to make money with your personal brand, the fastest way is to make money. It's not actually to just make a bunch of content and hope one day people will buy from you. You should be making money on month number 1. So every piece of content that you make, think of it like an advertisement to promote your services or products. And you might be thinking, okay, that makes sense, but what exactly am I gonna sell? Why would people pay me thousands of dollars per month for my skills, right? And I'll show you how. So I call this the experience audit. How it works is like this. The first thing you think about is in your life, especially if you have a pretty good high-paying job or a decent job, what have you been paid for? So chances are, if you are getting paid, you go into the office every single day to do some kind of work, that skill set that you have is valuable. Because even if you're an employee, a 9-to-5 person, technically you're kind of like an entrepreneur, but you just have one client. You just don't realize it yet, right? So that skill can be applied anywhere in the world. So I was a tech sales rep working in Silicon Valley. When I started my business, creating content online, building my personal brand, I took those same skill sets and just taught it online and sold online courses and coaching. And that's all I did. I didn't have to learn anything new. I just used what I've been doing for the last 2 years and just put it online. It's simple as that. Now, the other method is the complaining method, which is you think about when people have problems and they come to you, what are the problems they typically come to you with? Because chances are they think you're really good at that thing. So sometimes some people, if they have relationship problems, they come to you. Or if they have challenges around accounting, they come to you. Or maybe it's a sales issue and you're a salesperson, they might come to you. So you just think about in your life, what do people naturally come to you for advice? And chances are you're probably pretty good at that thing. And then number 3 is thinking about what's a hidden skill that you have that can be monetized, but you just never realized it yet. For example, if you are just so talented at public speaking, you can get on stage and you just freestyle and everybody loves it. There are ways to make money with that, whether it's creating content, becoming a public speaker, or it could even be, let's say you're very into video games and you understand video game marketing and what it's going to sell. You could probably become a marketer and consultant helping indie games or large companies sell more of their games because you're just so passionate about it. You're in the trenches. People actually value that kind of advice. Now, I'll tell you a story of how I actually got started in creating content around sales. So I was already good at sales. I was like one of the top guys at Oracle within my first year. So I had that skill, right? And at the same time, way back in the day, this is when Facebook Live actually came out. So the first time you live streaming on Facebook, and I would basically do it and just have 10 viewers, 20 viewers, just talking with my friends and just chatting and freestyle rapping, right? So I was just kind of okay and pretty good on camera. So as I started to think about what should I do online? How should I make money? How I kind of came to the idea of hey, I can maybe teach sales online was I was good at sales. People wanted this information. I'm pretty sure I could sell an online course or something. I was good at making videos, natural on camera. And so I was already kind of good, but not the best at these two things. And I just put it together, right? So the hidden skill was just being good on camera. And because there's so many sales coaches out there that don't want to do YouTube, they would rather just go in person, do these corporate sales training. At the time, I was like one of the only young people talking about sales, and that's why I blew up. So sometimes it's mixing different things like your work experience with things you enjoy, you know, and you put them together and to create something new, especially if it's around like creating content, being good with cameras, like that is a way to stand out in this market. And a lot of times for these really boring niches, like for example, my client Brandon that I was telling you about, he's basically doing like how to become a creator and create content, but for the construction niche, which nobody, like there's no competition. So you don't even have to be the best. You can actually just be decent, go into a market that's unsaturated, and you will win. Now let's talk about the market reality check. Meaning not every business opportunity is created equal. In some niches, you're gonna just make more money. In other niches, there's no money. And there's no point in spending your time there. So a couple questions you might be asking at this point. Okay, how do you know if people are willing to pay for your skills, right? So here are some ways to do it. Number one, you can do the LinkedIn test, meaning you just go on LinkedIn, find a bunch of companies and see what job openings are open that relate to the skill that you have. So if you're really good at user-generated content and you know how to make funny memes that convert into sales, see if there's any direct-to-consumer brands that want to blow up on TikTok. And chances are, if they're looking for a full-time content creator and marketer, you could probably come in as a consultant or a, service provider and fill that spot, right? If their job postings for something, chances are you can fill that gap. Now, the other way to do it is going to be the mirror test. So you want to also find people who are selling something you want to sell, whether it's a course, a coaching program, consulting, or any kind of B2B service. Because the fastest way to come up with an offer, so meaning something to sell, is really just a copy, to be honest. Because if it's working for another person, chances are you take the same thing, go to another person that also has the same problem, and they will probably buy it, right? Now, there's the whole thing of competition and stuff, true. But you would rather be playing in a market where people are already paying money. Now, if you cannot find anybody who is selling the thing you want to sell, I don't recommend you going into that market because you don't know if it's going to work or not. So you rather let someone else do the hard work and prove out the market and then come in as fast as possible and capture that revenue. And chances are, if you're new to business as well, you're not going to reinvent the wheel, right? You're not going to be innovating if you can't even get started in copy. So copy first, innovate later. But the goal, if you're trying to get to 10K a month, you can just get there by copying and innovating later. Now, the red flag that I have for you is really skills that appear valuable, but are not monetizable, right? So not every skill is going to be valuable. For example, if you're really into like playing marbles, for example, right? It's like a little, the marble game. Can you really make money doing that? Probably not. No, there's no consulting offers, coaching offers. Like there's just no money in the sport or in the hobby, right? So the most important part is to just double check. Are people already making money with this thing? How much money are they making? Can you make an estimate? And really the shortcut to this all is if you see someone doing something you like, just create a fake email, sign up for whatever it is, see what the emails they put out for their email newsletter, go on a call with them, talk to their salespeople, see the price points, see exactly how they sell it, and think to yourself, could you do the same thing? Could you provide a better service than them? If you can, you're in business, baby. Now, in order for you to sell your offer confidently for thousands of dollars, you're gonna need a transformational promise. So how does this work? You wanna shift your mindset from what you do to what results you provide, right? So if you said, I will help you create content for Instagram, okay, that's what you do. But people may not pay for it because they're gonna think, if I pay you $3,000, how much money am I gonna make back? I have no idea. But if you said, I will make you Instagram content that will convert, that will attract followers, and I will convert those followers into tangible sales. So now they're thinking, oh, okay, so this guy is not just making content, he understands how to play the game. He understands how to make money. So if I pay him $3,000, how much should I expect in return? So in a way, you're kind of selling money when you're selling that kind of transformation. So you always sell the results. That's what people care about, right? So if you're like a gym example, right? If you say, I'm going to train you at the gym, that's what you do. But if you said, I'm gonna help you get 6-pack abs and the ladies are gonna love it, that's the result. And what do people pay for? Results. So the way to think about it is you think about where they are now and where they want to go. And what's stopping them? What's that blocker, the challenges that prevent them from doing it by themselves? If they can see that you understand their current situation, you understand their ideal situation, you understand all the problems and excuses that make them not successful, and somehow you have a magic coaching program, consulting, or services that remove that blocker, they will pay for that value. And the most important part is to price based on value, not on time. So you don't want to charge like, oh, I charge $30 an hour, because then they're going to think, how do I pay this person as little as possible to get the result I want, right? So then now you're at a race to the bottom and you're competing on price. But from a sales perspective, if you truly understand them and you connect with them and you show them that your solution is uniquely different compared to whatever else is on the market, you can just throw your price out. And if they like it and they like you, they would just say yes. That is how it works in B2B. Price based on the value and the results that you provide, not the time you put in. So if I said, hey, if you give me $3,000, I'll give you $10,000 back and I'll do it in one day. It doesn't matter how long it took me to get the result. As long as I tripled your money back in one day, you're going to keep paying me over and over and over. So that's how you want to think about it. Now, pricing wise, when it comes to high ticket and building a personal brand, the easiest price to start at is going to be $2,000 to $5,000. Why do I recommend $2,000 to $5,000? Because you don't want to go on the phone and sell somebody unless you're going to make $2,000 or more. So that's the minimum. $5,000 is kind of like, you could charge more if you can, but it's just kind of like a general rule of thumb to be like, okay, like if I charge for some kind of marketing service, ghostwriting service, like it's pretty reasonable to charge $2,000 to $5,000, assuming you're getting them results, right? So that's like the rule of thumb. Obviously, it's not like set in stone, but that's where I would start in the beginning. And also, you want to also think about, if you're trying to get to $10,000 a month, right? If you get 3 clients at, let's say like $3.5K, you're done. So it's more easier than you think, because even if you put out a YouTube video, you get like 1,000 views. But if you got 1 client from that video, that's $3,000 a month. And if they renew for the next month, that's $6,000. If they renew for 1 year, imagine this kind of service, $3,000 multiplied by 12 months, that's a $36,000 client off of 1,000 views. So that's why you see all these little YouTube channels popping up, like small businesses, small YouTube channels, right? Because it works. As long as you're providing a service that you're able to keep making money on that person, especially if it's a recurring service, it will work. So now that you understand that sales and providing value is the most important part of a personal brand, let's talk about the actual content to get you the clients. And I like to use this thing called the content to client pipeline. The first step of the process is going to be the authority building strategy. So how does this work? So content that you put out should be doing 2 things. Number 1, it should be giving you awareness, getting people to know who you are. And number 2, it should be building authority. This is important because if you're only getting awareness, that's like doing funny stuff and, making jokes, writing trends, it doesn't mean you're respected and doesn't mean people will give you money. That's why you need both. The next part is, just because you get views doesn't mean people will actually trust and respect you. Again, if you're providing a high ticket service, you need to build credibility and respect. You don't need to have the most views. Obviously, views helps, but you need the respect as well. And that comes from the type of content you make. Are you entertaining or are you educating, opening people's minds, showing them what's possible, right? That is the key. Now, when it comes to which platform you should be building on, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, I would choose based on where your audience hangs out. So if you're doing a more B2B offer and every executive you want to talk to is on LinkedIn, create content on LinkedIn. But if you're doing something more broader and it's, people are searching it up online, especially if it's like a marketing agency or something, right? Or helping people with cold emails. A lot of people search that up on YouTube. So you might as well make YouTube videos about these things, which is what I did when I first started out, doing sales content. So platforms just depends on where your audience hangs out, but also what skill sets you have. Like if you want to do video, you want to do long form, similar to what I'm doing, and that's the skill you want to get better at, then definitely do long form. But if you're afraid of the camera, you don't want to show your face, and these days it's kind of hard to get away without showing your face, but if let's say you just do a photo, then it's got to be Twitter or LinkedIn. You don't have to do video, right? So it really just depends on your skill sets and your audience you want to target. Now, the simplest way to create content on any platform, let's say YouTube or LinkedIn, Twitter, right? It doesn't matter. There's really only 3 types of content you need to understand. The first one is problems, right? So you create content to agitate a problem. For example, if I made a video on the best way to make money in 2025, I'm agitating the problem of people probably want to make money online and they don't know which business model to choose. Very broad, top of funnel, right? And I try to convince them that my way is the best way. Now, the second type of content you should be making is solution-based content. So that's more like middle of the funnel, meaning let's say someone like this video, for example, you're watching this because you are kind of in the market to learn about personal branding. So you probably have a problem, which is I want to build a business, I want to quit my 9-to-5 job, or maybe I'm a freelancer and I want more clients, right? So you have a problem already and you think the solution potentially can be building a personal brand to attract clients. So any kind of how-to video is essentially a solution-based video. They kind of already know, like they're looking for a solution. They kind of know which way they're going and they're watching your video to hopefully solve the problem, right? The last piece of the puzzle, which is bottom of the funnel, which is the thing that converts the people the most to book calls and sales, is proof. So any kind of proof content is like if you do a customer testimonial video, if you do a customer interview, customer case study, videos of you speaking on stage or doing a Zoom live coaching session. It's like showing people that who you are, who you say you are, and whatever it is you're teaching is real. And there are people that are learning from you and they paid money to you to learn this and they got results. So then that kind of content will not get the most views, but it will attract the highest quality of buyer. And once they see that content, they might feel, okay, this is legit. I got to book the call. This is legit. I got to buy now. Like, this is exactly what I want. This is the experience that I want, right? And so you're showing people what it would be like to work with you so that by the time they get on the phone with you and you're selling them, they already know, they already sold. And that's why they buy it. It should be, your content should be so good, so clear that your sales call essentially feels like you're just taking the order, like you're not even selling. So now that you're creating content, all these different types of content, bottom, middle, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of the funnel content, the next step is converting those views into actual DMs and sales calls so that you can actually sell them. Now, just FYI, if you're selling something for 2 to 5K or even higher, you typically have to get on the phone, right? Because you need to talk to the person and convince them to buy. It's rare for someone to spend thousands of dollars, online without talking to you, especially if you're just starting out. So that's why I highly recommend you get on the phone with them. It's much easier. So we're going to use the conversation starter system. And this is what I personally do in my business and what I teach my clients as well. So the first way to do this is you want to create content. That's step number 1, right? Step number 2 is when the person follows you or engage with your content, you want to either get them to DM you or you DM them. So this works really well for platforms where you can actually send a DM. So like LinkedIn and Instagram. So if I'm posting an Instagram story, so if I'm doing Instagram, creating content, I'll do a story, right? And I'll tell a story about like how I quit my 9-to-5 to build an online business. And you see all these people like it, right? And maybe I'll do a poll. Hey, are you looking to build an online business? Yeah, then I'll say, then the options are yes and no. So all the people that said yes, I can see who they are. So what we'll do is we'll just DM every single person that said yes, and we'll say, hey man, I saw that you like my post and it looks like you're looking to build your personal brand. Then I'll look at their profile, find something relevant, and I saw, oh yeah man, I saw you were posting content, you're really into this kind of stuff. Just curious, like how's it going so far? And that's a very natural conversation. It's not salesy, it's not pushy. They literally raised their hand and said, I'm looking to build a personal brand. And plus, from the perspective of I'm the creator, and they probably like watch a lot of my content, it feels pretty cool when the creator actually messages you, right? So once you get them in the DMs, you understand their problems, you ask a couple questions, and eventually the whole point is to get them to admit they have a problem. So they might say, oh, I'm looking to build a personal brand, but I'm just not sure what kind of content to create or what to sell. And then from there, once you get that real core problem, I'll say, hey, if it makes sense, how about we just jump on a call and I hope you brainstorm some ideas on the type of content you make and what you can sell. I've actually helped a few people with this. So if you're open to it, I can send over a calendar link. And then of course they're going to say yes, right? Because you're literally giving them a free consulting call essentially. And once they say yes, you send them your calendar link, they click it, they book a call, and then you sell them on the call itself, right? But right now we're gonna focus on just like the DM side to even get the call. So that works on Instagram. It also works on LinkedIn. So for us on LinkedIn, we go for people that followed me, people that engaged with my content, people that viewed my profile, we'll check them out. If it looks like they would be a good fit for the Founder X program, which is the main coaching program that I'm selling, then we just send them a DM. hey John, appreciate the follow, man. Just curious, are you looking to build your personal brand, or are you just here to check out the content? Oh yeah, I'm looking to build my personal brand, but I just don't know where to start. Interesting. Conversation starts right there. So we closed a lot of deals just doing this strategy, and literally it works in any niche, like it doesn't matter if it's like construction, personal branding, accounting, it's all the same game. Now, the other way to do it, if you're not using a DM strategy, so let's say you're just creating content on YouTube, for example, is you create the content, then you have a lead magnet, right? And a lead magnet is essentially just a free resource where somebody gives you their contact information, which is their email and or phone number. And then you give them the free resource, like a training, right? And then from there, you can either do a DM or you can do a call. An example of how this works is for our website, which is founderx.net. If you go on it, the headline is you got skills, so why aren't you monetizing yet? So I'm trying to appeal to people who have skills and they want to build a personal brand in the business using their skills, knowledge, and experience, right? So I'm kind of like FOMOing people a little bit, kind of saying like, hey, you're seeing all these other people like build a personal brand and you're probably better at the thing than they are. Like, why aren't you doing this? Right? And so for very ambitious people, especially the ones who have a really high paying 9-to-5 job, they're like, yeah, I should be monetizing my skills online. And so if they click on the free training, they have to give me their information from their email and phone number and stuff like that. And then they get this really good free training on, how they can actually do that. And if they like the training and it's, and they resonate with what I'm teaching, the next step for them is to be booking a call. And then when they book a call with me, and they're already pre-sold at this point, it's very easy for me to close, right? And so that's one way you can get automatic bookings by just shouting out, hey guys, I have a free training, link is in the description. People will watch, you email them, and eventually they will book a call, and then you just, close them on the phone, right? So obviously the DM way is one of the easiest ways, but if you're, doing YouTube and you don't want to DM, you can just do it this way where you can automatically book the call without having to DM anybody, right? So there are pros and cons of both. You can do both at the same time. You could just pick one, but you only really need one to succeed. Now, a couple high level notes when it comes to using content to book calls and sell people, right? And this is going to be the trust bridge. So the first thing is people don't buy from strangers. They buy from people they like and trust. So that's why content is so important. When somebody buys the Founder X program, for example, they've probably watched like 5 of my YouTube videos, like 30 minutes each. They check me out on LinkedIn, make sure I'm legit. They watch the testimonials. It's like all these things are making it feel like they know me without having to talk to me much. And by the time they get on the phone with me, they're like, wow, like Patrick's actually even cooler in person than he is in the videos. And so from there, it's easy sell, right? So this is what I consider the modern buyer's journey, where it's not like a straight funnel of like, watch a YouTube video, email, sale. It's more like, watch a YouTube video, sign up for the free training, watch a couple more YouTube videos. I'll think about it. Oh, wait, Patrick DM'd me on Instagram. Okay, let me book the call here. Oh, Patrick seems like a really good guy. He sold me this thing. It costs this much. I'm not really sure. Let me watch like 3 more YouTube videos. Okay, text him back. All right, man, let's go. That's pretty much how the modern buyer journey goes. And so that's why you want to have these assets, these pieces of content out there where people can watch all the time to build that trust. And another thing that's important is social proof versus personal proof. So in the beginning, when you're starting from zero, you're going to use a lot of personal proof, right? You're saying like, hey, I did these things. I know this stuff. I can help you. Because when you have no clients, you are your own testimonial, right? But once you start getting clients and you're having like a testimonial page and video testimonials, you're just sharing, like when you get results for other people and it's like real people that leave a video, it's just so powerful because it proves that you are legit. Even for our website on FounderX, right, we have these video testimonials of people that have done really well and got their first clients and 10K plus, with what I teach, right? And people can watch it and be like, wow, like this is actually pretty legit. And then there's more testimonials that are written testimonials as well. So in general, the more testimonials you have, the more proof you have, the easier it is to sell. In the beginning, it might feel hard, but it should get easier year after year if you continue it for the long term. So now that we understand how you can book meetings with DMs and lead magnets, free trainings, the next step is, what are you supposed to do on an actual sales call to convince someone to pay you money, especially if you don't have any testimonials or any clients yet? So let me show you the process. And we're going to start with the 10K conversion. So we're going to get into the actual sales call structure, how you should be structuring your sales call so that you can convert these people that came from your content into paying customers. So if I were to give you the 80-20 of how this works and condense my 10 years of sales experience into this video, here's what it is. Step number 1, you find the pain first, right? No pain, no sell. Everybody has a problem. If you cannot find the problem, you will not make any money. So if somebody wants to, you're going to help them grow on Instagram, for example, their pain is, I don't want to figure it out by myself. I want to make this into a profitable channel. I want to make more money to grow my business so that I can buy a new house, right? That is real pain. If you can show them that, hey, just pay me and I will do all the work and you don't have to do anything, of course they're going to pay. That's like free money to them, right? So find the pain. And then you want to hear the dream. It's like people always have these aspirations of where they want to go, what they want to do, how they want to be perceived, their status in their life, right? What is their true dream? If you can help them solve problems so that it makes it easier for them to get to their dream, you will get paid. And everybody has a dream. Everybody has a goal, right? Even if it's a B2B business and it's a corporate environment, they're all individuals that work at the company and they have goals as well. And sometimes the goal is, I'm a director of marketing and I want to be promoted to VP of marketing. That is a goal. So once you find the pain, you see the dream, you understand the challenges of like what's stopping them, then it's finding the roadblocks. What are the challenges that are stopping them, that prevent them from achieving their dream by themselves? Because if they feel like, oh, like I don't need to pay you, I can just do it myself, they are not going to pay you. They need to feel like, oh, I really want to do this, but I just don't have the time, the energy, and I just don't even know how to do it. It would take me months of learning how to do this if I were to do it properly. And if you can show them like, I totally understand, man. That's why my price is $3,000 per month and I'm going to help you solve every problem. You just have to give me the money and I'll do the rest. Then this is going to be so much easier for them to buy, right? Now, the next thing is really understanding urgency. So even if you understand the challenges and they know that you can, solve these challenges, sometimes timing is an important thing. So you might say like, oh, if we were to take care of this, like when do you want to get started? Well, maybe next quarter, maybe at the end of the year, right? So it's like, is this deal going to close? Are they serious? It's not clear. So you need to create some kind of urgency to get the person to take an action now. Why take advantage of this opportunity now versus later? So if you said, let's say you're helping somebody, I don't know, grow on YouTube, and they're like, yeah, we're a construction company and we're thinking about doing YouTube. We're not really sure. You could say, hey, look, I totally understand. Maybe it's not the top priority right now, but here's the thing. Right now on YouTube, there's just no competition for these construction companies. If you capture this market today, which there is no competition, you can be literally the first person on the planet to build a YouTube channel in this construction niche. And if you're able to do that over the next year, by the time everyone figures out and catches on, you're going to be miles ahead of everybody, solidifying your dominance, taking all the leads and market share and making a ton more money. And the money that you make, you can invest it back into the content and really solidify your spot as number one. Now, you could wait until next year, but if someone else takes your spot, you're going to be playing catch up forever. And I don't even know if you're going to make it then. Now, I've turned, maybe we'll do it, into urgency. Why they need to do it now. And another key to selling on the phone is handling any objection before it comes up. So within your entire sales script, you kind of already know what challenges people have, whether it's pricing, your urgency, whether they believe in you or not, whether they should go for a bigger company or a small person like you. Like when you do enough calls, you already know what the objections are. So you want to integrate those objections into your pitch and use it as an advantage. Don't wait for them to bring up the elephant in the room. Do it in the beginning, right? So if you're really small and you're worried about all the big companies, like why would they go for a small independent contractor when they can go for this big company that's been doing it for 20 years? Well, you can say, hey, look, one of the things that make us different and boutique is that if you work with a larger company, they're just going to assign a random junior person to handle this. And is that person even good? Do you even know their name when you're signing the deal? You probably don't. But when you're working with me, what you're getting is me. I am going to be doing the work for you, and I'm going to put in my absolute focus and best to make sure you get results. And because of my skill set and all my experience and things that I've done, you can clearly see that I'm significantly stronger than a junior level person that probably you would get if you went with the other bigger guys. So if you bring that up in the beginning, you can use your weakness as a strength and they don't think about it anymore. And the key to this all is on the call, you need to show them that you have a fast, easy solution with a high likelihood of success. It's so simple. Fast, easy, and the chance of success is very high. If you can convince the other person that your solution has these 3 traits, why wouldn't they buy? Now, a big factor in making them believe is actually the confidence factor. So in sales, 80% of the sale is really belief. Of course, I can teach you all the techniques and strategies, and they work, but your self-confidence is gonna be the thing that sells it the most. It's kind of similar to, let's say, a guy is cold approaching a girl and trying to get her phone number, right? You can teach a guy the lines, the perfect line to say every time. But chances are, if they're not confident in their own skin and they're nervous and they're talking like this and they just can't, they can't focus and they can't like just show that they have a confident personality, they're gonna fail. It doesn't matter how well written that line is if they're not confident in themselves. So all sales really is you're transferring your belief and your confidence in your products and services, and you're making the other person believe just as much as you do. And that is the game of sales. And the 3 beliefs that you need them to believe is 3 things. Number 1, they need to believe in you, that you can actually do a good job. Number 2, they need to believe in your vehicle. So whatever method it is you're using to get them the result, they need to believe in that, right? So if it's, I'm gonna help you build a personal brand with YouTube, they need to believe that YouTube is the best place to build a personal brand, as an example, right? And number 3, they need to believe that they can do it too. So if you got a result for yourself and you're trying to sell some kind of consulting or coaching to another person, they might say, oh, Patrick, like, duh, you can be a good YouTuber. Look at you, like, you're handsome, you're smart, you talk well. Of course, you can do it, but I'm shy, I'm quiet, I can't do it. This is not me, right? Then they're not gonna buy because they don't believe they can do it too. So the best way to overcome, especially that last piece, is to show your testimonials and show that there are everyday regular people that are no better and smarter than them that are getting success. So why not them? And they'll start to think, yeah, why not? And a lot of this actually comes down to your origin story as well, especially if you're doing content creation. Because when I get on the phone with somebody, they always know a couple things, and I do it by design, which is I had a 6-figure tech sales job working in Silicon Valley, left it all to move to Thailand to try to build an online business. A lot of failures along the way, but finally I figured out that I can sell my skills, which was sales, package it into an online course and coaching and sell it online. And that's essentially how I grew my YouTube following. And so when they see that, they're like, Patrick was just like me. He was just a regular employee at a company, and he basically moved to Asia to live the dream, and he actually pulled it off. So by telling that story, I don't try to like pretend like I'm a god and like I could do anything. It's more like I was literally just like you, but the difference is I put in the work to change my life. Why not you? Right? It's a very different approach. You want to take a more relatable approach to get people to believe. So now that you understand how to sell, let's talk about life beyond your first 10K per month, okay? So in general, if you're making 10K plus a month, you're pretty much free. Now, it's not like a lot of money. It's enough money to do what you want, to work when you want, to live where you want, and you don't have to answer to anybody, right? For 10K a month, you can live pretty much anywhere in the world, especially like I'm living in Vietnam right now, right? And 10K a month goes a very long way here. So the first thing is having a scaling mindset. Now, when you get your first client, if you follow all the steps in this video, it's not really about the money in the beginning. It's about confirmation to know that you're going in the right direction. Because you can be doing all these things like creating content, but if someone doesn't give you that first payment, it means nothing because the dream isn't real. So understand it's a really big milestone that should be celebrated when you get your first high ticket client. And it's confirmation that all you have to do is create more content, sell more people to make more money. Simple as that. So what do you do with the profits that you make? Well, number one, you buy your freedom, right? You buy your freedom so that you don't have to work for another person. That's the first thing you should do. So it's your living expenses. But when you have left over from that 10K, the best thing to do is, in my opinion, is to continue to reinvest in your personal brand. Because the more famous you get, the more money you can charge and the more clients you have. And in 1 year, I've experienced this for myself. You can make more money in 1 year than your entire life combined if you do it right. Because your personal brand can exponentially scale and you just get better and better at what you do. And so the best investment, yeah, you can invest in the S&P 500. You can buy crypto. I buy crypto too. But majority of my money is reinvested back into building my brand, hiring people to see if I can scale, remove myself in parts in the business to buy more time so I can do what? Build my brand, build different products, provide better services, because you are your best investment. And you want to keep upskilling yourself so that you can make more money. Develop the skill of providing value to make money on demand. If I lost everything tomorrow, I lost my YouTube channel, all my social media died, and I was starting from zero again, I can get to 10K per month probably within month one because of these skill sets that I have, right? You can never take that away from me. And I know how to market, I know how to sell, I can sell anything. So invest in yourself and your education and you will never go broke, especially if you learn that selling skill set, which I've been teaching you in this whole video is about, right? Creating content and sales. Now, this is idea of building systems versus staying a solo entrepreneur. Okay, so on YouTube, right? There's all these people saying like, here's how I made $1 million with a one-person business. It's kind of like a scam in a way. Why is that? Because truthfully, when you think about it, you don't want to build a business by yourself. Like the first hire you should have is an assistant, right? Like what's wrong with that? So all these people kind of demonize hiring people. Like you got to do everything yourself. It's ridiculous. Why would you be doing anything that is low value? For example, if you have an Amazon delivery, should you be the one picking it up, right? Like, should you actually be cooking your own meals or should you hire a chef? Like I have a chef in here in Vietnam. I don't want to be cooking myself. That's a waste of time, right? And it's a waste of money. And to hire a chef is much cheaper than just signing a new client. So why would I do everything myself? And so don't listen to these people saying like, oh, you got to build a one-person business. I think more about it like this. You want to build a lean business where there's not a lot of overhead and it's not complex and you have a small group of people helping you build a vision that you cannot do by yourself. But to say like, just stay solo forever, I think you're going to be doing too much work for too little pay. Because eventually, like you're not going to be wanting to invoice people. You're not going to be the one that wants to post every social media post, right? You're not going to be the one like putting the hashtags. Like, why should that be you when your time should be focused on more higher leverage things? So in my personal opinion, spending money to hire and train talent and keep them is the best thing you can do because it frees up more time so you can do higher leverage things. That's just my take. Now, what's the long-term vision for your personal brand and continuing to make money? Here's how I think about it. Your personal brand is an asset that pays you for life. You're going to use it for the rest of your life. You only have one name, so you might as well keep building it up, build respect so you can charge more higher prices and make money for the rest of your life, right? And once you start building a following, you can use it to support any business venture you decide to do moving forward. If you want to have an agency, an online course program, a coaching program, a software company, like if you have an audience, you can literally sell anything. Plus, if you know how to sell as well, then you can find different products and partner with different people to make more money and have different revenue streams. And right now, honestly, is the best time to build a personal brand. You got all these consumers and NPCs really just like scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, right? And they're not creating anything. So there's a lot of demand. There's not a lot of supply. So if you want to be the number one, let's say, tech sales coach on YouTube, you can be. And I know from personal experience that from a views perspective, I was getting the most views in that niche. So you can literally be number one in the planet at what you do. Like there's never been a time in history when this is possible, right? So if you find a unique niche and you have a certain perspective that other people don't have, you can be number one in your category and just suck up all that revenue. Like it's the best time to do it. Maybe in the future things become more saturated, sure. But right now, in my opinion, it's a personal brand boom. And I'm sure you've seen it every day. There's a new person becoming a creator. That guy that you knew from work or from college, suddenly they're making content. A lot of people I knew from college are hitting me up on Instagram saying like, dude, you're killing it. Congrats. It's like, yeah, but it could have been you. You could have been making this content, but you didn't. All right, so there you have it. I just gave you the complete roadmap to make your first $10,000 with a personal brand. And look, I know some of you are sitting there thinking, Patrick, this sounds great in theory, but I still don't know exactly what my offer should be, or how do I actually get people on sales calls, or what if I mess up on the call itself? And those are completely valid concerns. And the truth is, while I did just give you the complete framework, there are actually a lot of nuances to actually implementing and executing these strategies successfully. And that's exactly why I built the Founder X program. Now in Founder X, we don't just teach you theory, we work with you hands-on to identify your specific offer, help you create content that actually converts, and I will personally coach you through your first sales calls until you're confident enough to do it on your own. One of my clients, Yvonne, actually went from a tech sales rep with less than 1 year of experience, and I helped her create an offer helping other people get high-paying tech sales jobs. And within her first month, she got her first high-ticket client selling for about $2,000. And then after 2 months of working with me, she quit her full-time job, which was a 6-figure tech sales job, actually, similar to what I did in the past. And she went full-time on this, getting to 10K per month within 4 months of working with me. I've also had other people as well, like Tyler and Vince and Brandon, which I've talked to you about in the beginning of this video, all hitting 10K plus months within 60 days of working with me. But here's what I want you to understand. Founder X isn't for everybody. It's for people who are actually serious in building a real business, not just playing around with content creation, all right? It's for people who are willing to get uncomfortable, have these sales conversations, and actually do the work that most people are not willing to do. Now, if that sounds like you, I've actually put together a free training that goes way deeper into the entire system. You'll see exactly how the Founder X program works. You'll get some of my best strategies that I couldn't fit into this video, and you'll understand whether this is the right path for you or not. The link is in the description below, and it's completely free. And really, I just want to give you as much value as possible so that you can make an informed decision about your future. And if you got value from this video, hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to be dropping content like this every single week to help you build your business and life that you actually want. And remember, it's day one or one day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.